like bass? That rumbly, punchy, boomy kind of bass that will shake your earwax off? Well, these headphones are for you. Tuned in collaboration with Z Reviews or Zeos, this is the Kiwi Ears Serene. Headphones that have really powerful bass, and it's even surprising that the driver within is a planar driver. Yet that planar driver is 72mm by 89mm in size and delivers really powerful low end. What's even more surprising is that they call these headphones the Serene, when it's really kinda chaotic in the low end. And I personally could not enjoy the stock tuning on these headphones, so I will go over my equalization to somehow make the headphones listenable for me. I also think it's worth mentioning that my way of hearing is not the same as Zeos or you. Yes, you watching this video. What sounds muffled for me may sound clear and balanced to another ear. But yeah, hi, I'm Daniel with the Biboyharanero team. We have been reviewing keyboards, mice, and audio gear since 2019, so consider subscribing and be updated with our new weekly uploads. The Kiwi Ear Serene is a closed-back planar headphones, again, tuned in collaboration with Zeos. Zeos is known to tune audio gear specifically for bass lovers, but not really for those seeking a technical set. I'm personally not a bass lover as I value technicality over bass power in all of my audio gear. So yes, I do have a bias and I am just a human, like you, with preferences. And given my ear shape, depth, and all other factors which affect my perception of sound, I will honestly give you my thoughts on the Kiwi Ear Serene. Yet before we go over sound signature, let's talk about build quality. Inside the box, you get the headphones and the cable and documentation. That's pretty much it. The cable is really long and terminates a 3.5mm tip with two 3.5mm tips to connect straight to the headphones. There's nothing surprising here, really nothing to point out that needs to be complained about or be ecstatic about. Yet the headphones, I think, is really well built and is also very comfortable around my head. But I do have one thing that I would like to change on the set. The headband is covered in protein leather and it has a metal internal construction. Same goes to the adjustable bands that connects the headband to the ear cups. The foam on the headband is really soft and very comfortable for my head. It too is covered in protein leather, which will eventually peel off, but you can get headband cover replacements online for a low price. The ear cups, which houses the planar drivers, has some ventilation on the top part of the ear cup. Then, you get an aluminum cover for the ear cup, which I believe will be offered in different colors. Ear cups are made of plastic and the overall headphones aren't heavy, and the ear pads are soft and are also covered in protein leather just like the headband. These ear pads are removable and can be replaced with a 93 by 76mm ear pad. Overall, I think the build quality is solid and sturdy enough. As for comfort, it doesn't fit my head perfectly as I have a narrow head with an extra tall forehead. You're looking at my mannequin's head, not mine. Anyways, in terms of headband length, it is plenty enough for my tall head. But I wish that the headphones offered more vertical swivel. The swivel adjustment is less than 1 centimeter, which was something I hope was added to have at least like a 1.5 centimeter allowance. This would really fit wide heads really well, but not very much for the narrow-headed people. And based on my experience, I feel more pressure from the lower ear pads than the upper side, creating a weird fit that, just isn't perfect on your head. Seal is still great though, as the ear pads wrap around my ears really well, and my ears do not touch the drivers. So the ear pad thickness is just right, even for those with wide ears, though this is highly subjective. And I still kind of hoped for wider ear pads so it wraps around my ears without touching it, creating kind of like a wide dome around your ears. You get a lot of horizontal swivel, which is good, but I wish the option for more vertical swivel was applied. I would give comfort a total of 7 out of 10. Just because of the ear pad fit and the ear pad size. Now, I already mentioned a while back that I am not a bass lover and I prioritize technicality, detail, and balance throughout the frequencies. And with that said, I personally did not enjoy the Kiwi Ear Serene's stock tuning. Now, does it mean it's not usable for me? Well, it still is, and still performed at levels that I found is enjoyable, but required equalization. And I found that the best EQ for the Serene that suits my ears includes a decrease in the low ends in general with a slight dip around 100 Hz. This lessens the rumbles and greatly reduces the punch to levels that are tolerable for me. Then I increased the upper mid-range and trebles to open up the sound stage, adding in more detail to the mix and brightening it up. Now, without equalization, these are my honest thoughts. The bass is really powerful that it kind of forgets about detail and technical performance. It makes the headphones sound muffled, and I have to crank up volumes just to hear the subtle nuances in the upper mid-range. Vocals sound warm, and I feel it's tuned just right for a bass-focused tuning. I still feel like a boost around 2000 Hz region add a more natural tone to male and female vocals. Guitars sound lacking in energy, where I just yearn for more harshness that I don't hear. And as for low mids, this is where I feel the Serene lacks a bit as the bass bleeds into it and kind of covers it up, muffling the entire mid region in general. This is an issue for me personally as a gamer, but we'll talk more about this in the next segment. Vocals sound okay, but the mids, again, in general, well, if the mids were a person, then this person is hair-lipped. Or in other words, bingot. On the trebles, I found that with the warm tuning, it lacks some energy around the top end. I have to crank up volumes again just so that I could pinpoint some of the nuances in the highs. There are no frequencies that are piercing sharp or sibilant, yet my ears personally prefer sharp and high treble tunings. So with that said, it's very much already obvious that I don't recommend the Serene for everybody, but bass lovers only. So how about gamers? With the low-end focused tuning, explosions and gunshots sound very full and very loud. This perk comes at a cost of losing detail around the mid-section, which is where the dialogue and footsteps are most of the time positioned in. I don't really care about dialogue, yet footsteps is key to judging an Audio Gear's gaming performance. And with a powerful bass, it kind of overshadows the footsteps, making it difficult for me to pinpoint enemy positions around the vicinity. When I game and I hear footsteps on my left and right, I automatically just predict where they're gonna come out of. But not with this set, as I get backstabbed a lot, I get backshots a lot from everybody. Footsteps are still there though, but it requires more focus from me to be able to hear them, and it takes away from the energy that I have to allocate towards visuals. So yeah, I had to do some EQ on this thing to make it usable. With the narrow sound stage, I also found it kind of fatiguing for open world games. Now, I wish I could try, but I already know that this set will be very fatiguing for me if I use this for hours and hours grinding in The Division 2. Now, Kiwi Ears generally makes really good sets, and not one set, be it an IEM, headphones, is made for everybody. What Kiwi Ears is trying to do here is cater to a group of audiophiles that really love violent bass. And this is what I highly recommend for bass lovers. Or if you're coming from a Bose or Beats headset, then this is one that I think you would enjoy. It does really well with rhythm and blues and rap music though. Now, to sum up this whole review, these headphones, again, aren't for me personally, yet it is something that I would still recommend, especially for collectors who want to explore on many different kinds of tunings. But as a daily driver for gaming or media consumption, I would recommend the Kiwi Ears Altruva a lot more. Links will be in the description below, so access them on where to get your Kiwi Ears Serene. Leave your questions in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.